How to survive a bear attack while being chased by a serial killer on a cliffside. Step 1. Assess your situation, also known as panic. You're on a mountain. The wind is howling. The cliff is just a few steps away, and somewhere in the distance you hear the growl of a bear. Oh, and did I mention there's a serial killer lurking nearby? Reality check. Take a deep breath and then promptly freak out. It's okay. This is totally legitimate time to panic. Don't let the panic paralyze you, because paralysis leads to becoming bear chow or serial killer bait, and neither is preferable. Absurd tip: start running in a zigzag pattern. Sure, it works for alligators, but who's to say it won't work and confuse a bear or a serial killer? Plus, the cliff adds an extra layer of excitement to your zigzagging. Step 2. Use the bear as a weapon. The bear is getting closer and the serial killer is too. You're damned if you do and mauled if you don't. Reality check. Bears are fast. Really fast. Strong. Really strong. And not interested in playing fetch. However, bears are also territorial, so maybe you can use that to your advantage. And well, if you're lucky, the bear might see the serial killer as a bigger threat and chase him instead. It's the ultimate game of, hey, chase him, not me. Step 3. The cliff is your friend. Well, sort of. The cliff looms behind you like an impending doom, but it's also your ticket out, if you're crazy enough to try. Reality check. Jumping off a cliff isn't a great idea, but hanging on the edge of a cliff like the movies, now we're talking. Absurd tip: when the bear charges or the serial killer gets too close, dramatically leap off the edge. But not to your doom. Grab onto a conveniently placed tree root or a random rope ladder left by the previous survivors. Hey, you never know. And while hanging there, the bear might lose interest, and the serial killer might be just too afraid of heights to follow. Step 4. Distraction tactics, also known as playing dirty. You're hanging on by a thread. Literally, you need to create a diversion. It's time to get creative. Reality check. Both the bear and the serial killer are now engaged in a bizarre standoff above you. They're both wild animals in their own right, but you're the one with the brain, and hopefully some tricks up your sleeve. Absurd tip: start singing your favorite show tune at the top of your lungs. Not only might this confuse the bear and the serial killer, but it could also summon a passing hiker or a mountain rescue team who's too curious about who's singing the sound of music on a mountainside to ignore you. Step 5. The grand escape. The bear is distracted, the serial killer is annoyed, and you're hanging off a cliffside like a wannabe action hero. It's time to make your move. Reality check. Pull yourself up. Yes, this is where those long-forgotten pull-ups from gym class come in handy, and once you're back on solid ground, use that adrenaline rush to sprint to safety. Tip: if you happen to have a jar of honey in your backpack, and why wouldn't you, throw it at the bear as a parting gift. It's a peace offering. It might buy you enough time to escape. And as for the serial killer, who knows? Maybe they'll be too baffled by your antics and they'll just give up and go home. Step 6. Celebrate your survival. You've miraculously made it out alive. The bear is enjoying its honey. The serial killer is shaking their head in disbelief, and you're running down the mountain like a madman. Reality check. Take a moment to appreciate your survival skills. No matter how absurd they were, you outsmarted a bear, a serial killer, and a cliff all in one day. Now maybe consider sticking to indoor activities for a while. Tip: after you're safe, consider writing a book called How to Barely Survive a Bear Attack While Being Chased by a Serial Killer on a Cliffside. You might not make it to the bestseller list, but you definitely got a story to tell. So there you have it, your foolproof, well, maybe not entirely foolproof guide to surviving a bear attack while being pursued by a serial killer on a mountain near a cliff. Remember, survival is all about thinking on your feet and using what you have, and knowing when to zigzag, and if all else fails, just start singing show tunes.